Derick Giwner joined by Bergman this week for the Saturday, July 27th edition of the Harness Spotlight, where we're going to feature the Meadows. Great 16 race card on tap, including a bunch of guaranteed wagers. The $20,000 guaranteed pick four starts in race 12, and it ends with race number 15, the $400,000 Adios pace. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Jay, how you doing?
Doing great, Derick. Looking forward to the race.
We got a nice field of 9 lined up. Obviously, the morning line favorite here is Southwind Ozzy. He's 2-1 on the early line, coming off an impressive win where he missed time, hadn't raced since May, came back and won from post position number 9. We're going to take a look at that replay, and you could run us through what you thought happened here.
Well, you see on the lead of Stag Party fighting off challenges and coming 3 wide right now. You see Brian Sears and Southwind Ozzy, and takes the turn 3 wide, but obviously is in full stride and gets the jump on Stag Party, on angling out his escape by the beach with Tim Tetrick to try to make it interesting. But obviously Southwind Ozzy was strong enough to prevail here.
Yeah, Southwind Ozzy, that was a pretty impressive effort considering the layoff. I know you talked to trainer Bill McKenzie. I mean, he doesn't usually get a lot of chance in these stakes races. This has got to be a pretty big moment for him.
Oh, I think it is. I mean, I think he tried to downplay it like every longtime trainer who's never had a great horse before. He doesn't want to get ahead of himself, but he was kind of delighted with the effort, and he knew what post 9, how difficult it is to win from post 9 here, and he expects the horse to be much better this week.
Certainly another one of the main competitors here is going to be number 1, Prince of Tides. We're going to take a look at that replay now, and he just demolished the field. He just blew them away.
Well, Dave Pallone knows how to win races, and certainly knows how to win races at the Meadows, and had the rail, took it to his advantage, and never let off the gas pedal. And maybe it's a race the horse needed. I think he was driving him out. I think he really wanted to see just how good this horse is, because he's going to have to know a little bit more racing against the finalists this Saturday.
I mean, that's a big question here. How good is Prince of Tides? We've seen him already go a 48-mile. Clearly, there's some mobility here. I think he's won like 5 straight, but is this a horse that can go, even down the road with the Captain Crunches and the working on the mysteries and the Bettor's Wishes of the world?
Well, it's interesting. You know how tough the season is for these horses, and how they have to go big race after big race. And here's a horse that's pretty much taken a very, very determined road to get here. And this is his first test, so we're gonna find out a lot on Saturday.
No doubt about it. The other elimination winner was number 3, Captain Victorious. He did a good job, nothing, overly impressive, but he went around the oval and did what he had to do. And he's proven in the past he could go the 48-mile that it might take to win this.
Well, I think it might have been lost last week. He was obviously the slowest of the 3 eliminations, and some people may look down on that. But Ron Burke is never going to enter a race like this and not have a horse ready. And I think in Captain Victorious's case, he had missed 3 weeks before racing last week, so he had a reason to be a little short.
I mean, just looking at some of the other contenders in here, number 2, Stag Party added Lasix. I mean, wasn't great in his first start with Lasix at the Meadowlands, and then went last week at the Meadows, made a brush to the lead, weakened a little on the stretch. What's your opinion there?
I'm very high on Stag Party, and Casey Coleman, I think she proved a lot of people wrong last week, winning the Joe Garrity Memorial. With McWicked, and this horse came down to the Meadowlands last week, specifically a week ago, I should say, to put Lasix in, and the horse was admittedly flat in that first start, but Dexter Dunn, first time on the horse last week, was really feeling him out, and I was impressed with 2 very swift quarters. That 25-4 opening quarter, that's a big quarter over here at the Meadows, and he went a big third quarter as well. I'm always impressed when some of these horses start airing it out a little bit, because you need to be ready to go in 48, and I think last week was a little indication that he might be ready to go in 48.
Are you a little bit worried with post position number 2 that it kind of sets him up for perhaps a first over trip? I got to assume Captain Victorious is leaving. I don't know, Escape to the Beach. Maybe Branchino is going to leave. I mean, he's probably going to be the first to the outside here.
Well, you don't want him first over if Southwind Ozzy is second over, obviously. But, if we learned anything from the Meadowlands pace and driver Dexter Dunn, it's he doesn't seem to be mind being first over very much. And like Bettor's Wish, this is a son of Bettor's Delight. And I think he does have a lot of talent and a lot of courage. And he showed a lot of it last year. It's just been a very, very slow beginning for him. But it's a long campaign, and maybe he's ready to kick it in.
I end up going with Southwind Ozzy in this spot. I just think it works out well as far as where he drew. I think he's going to work out with a favorable trip here. I think he obviously should be better in his second start off the layoff. I think just everything's pointing in the right direction for him. I mean, the only loss came to Captain Crunch. We all know how good he is. Is there anyone else in this field of the, from 5 through 9 that you think you can get into this race at a big price?
Well, I certainly think Escape to the Beach can get in this race at any kind of price. I mean, I think it's funny. That's the one horse that, trainer Bill McKenzie mentioned to me that he was concerned about, obviously, because he showed 25 and change leaving speed, and he was also closing late. Obviously, a much better trip than Southwind Ozzy had, but still, he was a 5th-place finisher in the Meadowlands Pace and came from well back to do that. Trainee Tonalanya has had a lot of horses, and not a lot of them have stepped up, but this one seems to be one that stepped up. I mean, I actually bet on him in the 9-1-4 at Pocono and got beat with him early in the year, and now he's just a much better horse.
You think a horse like Branchino, who finished second last week, it was a step in the right direction. Obviously, he's got a lot of seconds on his cards. You start to worry that maybe he's not going to win one, but I think he could step up in a spot like this. You think he might show speed here? It looks like a spot where he could try to blast out and see what happens.
Yeah, I think what he's going to find out is what's going to happen is not going to be to his liking. I just think it's too much power inside of him this week. Last week he tried to leave, but even last week when he left, he was a little bit careful about it. So I think it's a little tough to go full tilt here and risk maybe getting a check.
So Stag Party's your top pick here. Are you looking at Prince of Tide, Southwind Ozzy? Those are you looking at underneath, or do you have other?
Definitely Southwind Ozzy underneath. I mean, I'm very impressed with the horse. I've been very impressed with the horse all season long. Like I said, this is an interesting race because I really feel that there are a lot of key players and a lot of unknowns. Like I said, even Stag Party's an unknown. Certainly, we don't know what Prince of Tides will be. Captain Victorious could be better. Southwind Ozzy, this is the first time he's faced this kind of company. I expect a lot of movement here, and a lot of previous Adioses that I've seen have been wild races. So I'm anticipating a lot of wild action. Hopefully, it'll land well for the Stag Party.
Well, certainly a really nice edition of the Adios, $400,000 on the line, 16-race card. You could download all the past performances at promos.drf.com/Meadows, free Harness IPPs. We'll have live video on Harness Live along with Garnett Barnsdale doing some real-time insights and analysis. Should be a great day of racing. Starts at 11:25 a.m., so you got to get up early, but it'll take you all through the day with the action. Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Thank you.